Hey everybody, this is Dan and Chase at Adventure Harley-Davidson, the parts and accessories department, again to talk to you about some audio equipment. We did a video earlier kind of contrasting Harley-Davidson's audio system that's designed by Rockford Fosgate and Rockford Fosgate's proprietary system. Today we want to go a little more in depth on the Harley system like we said we would in that video. Talk to you about the speakers, the amplifier, the subwoofer kits, the head units, things like that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chase, and he's going to start talking about the speakers. We'll come back and I'll talk to you about some of the other components. Yep. Chase?
So as Dan said, we're going to start off talking about some of our speakers here. So with the Harley-Davidson audio presented by Rockford Fosgate, we've got stage 1 and stage 2 audio. We're only going to spend today talking about the stage 1 audio, or I'm sorry, stage 2 audio. There's nothing wrong with the stage 1 necessarily, but it is our experience when customers are upgrading their audio, they like to upgrade to the best of available, which is the stage 2. So we're going to run through a couple specs on the speakers here. So what I've got is a pair of fairing speakers for the Road Glide and the Street Glide. So of course, as you notice, the speakers are the same. The only real difference in them is going to be the speaker grills between the models. So these speakers are going to feature a 6.5-inch woofer, a 30mm mid-range, and a 20mm tweeter. So the fairing speakers on the Road Glides and the Street Glides are the same, as well as the Tour Pack speakers are actually the same as well. Once again, the only real difference between the kits is going to be the Tour Pack grills that come with the kit, as well as our saddlebag lid speakers. So these guys right here are a 5x7 subwoofer, as well as a 30mm mid-range and a 20mm tweeter. No different than the fairing speakers and the Tour Pack speakers. Of course, just a little bit different shape and look to it to go along into the saddlebags. We also offer the stage 2 speakers for the lower fairings, as I said, for your non-liquid cooled model. So if you got a Street Glide and you add lower fairings and you want to put some speakers in there, that'd be the same speakers as what's actually goes into the Tour Pack as well. And then with the liquid cooled models, they also have a speaker that goes in there in the stage 2 version. It's a little bit smaller, of course. That radiator equipment takes up a lot of room in the lower fairings. So it's actually a 4.7-inch woofer and only a 25mm tweeter. There is no mid-range speaker that goes along with it. But that's a quick rundown on the specs with the speakers. Some of the features of them are, of course, they're going to be waterproof. Any of our motorcycle audio is going to have to be waterproof. Otherwise, well, the first time you get caught in a rainstorm, we're not going to be too happy with our equipment. The stage 1 speakers, again, we won't talk too much about them, but they're going to be 75 watts of power. Our stage 2s are going to be pushing 150 watts, as well as the high flux neodymium magnets on the back of them. So not necessarily a stereo expert, but what I have learned into the stereo world is a bigger magnet's usually going to be a sign of a better quality speaker, as well as a bridge mounted tweeter and the mid-range speaker and the inductive heat dampening. So inductive heat dampening, when I say that, is kind of confusing, of course, but essentially with that, the voice coils are going to push heat, or I'm sorry, the magnets and the design of the speakers are going to push away heat from the speaker for maximum clarity as you're jamming for a long day. Of course, everything's going to get hotter and a little bit warmer, but these are designed so that you have maximum clarity at all times, as well as the ICC, which is the internal concealed crossovers. With these here, again, that's just going to help so we get maximum output and maximum clarity out of the speakers. So after the speakers, one of our next big additions is going to be the subwoofers. So these are one of the really innovative features of the new audio system. These are 10-inch subwoofer kits that actually drop down into your saddlebags, and you can actually unplug them and pull them right up and out of there like a suitcase. So, of course, if you're wanting to go to bike night and you're wanting to jam and show off a little bit, you can drop these down into your saddlebag, plug them in, you're ready to rock and roll. You're going on a trip, you need to pull them out of there. Again, just unplug them and lift them up out like a suitcase and you're ready to go. You can run these duals or singles. Removable, no tools are needed. Again, just unplug it and lift it up out of there. They do require 2 channels, so depending on your system you're running, you can run 2 speakers and a subwoofer, or of course if you're running 4 speakers, we're wanting to get you a secondary amplifier at that point. So there's a lot of mixing and matching we can do on the kits. Very, very innovative stuff. Of course, these also feature the cutout for the power lock, so we can run these on CVO models. For those of you that don't know, when you start getting into some custom audio on the CVOs, they're a little bit trickier because some of the features and functions that go along with them. Of course, when you get to subwoofer kit, we're going to have a cutout on the inside of your saddlebag there. But again, when you're pulling it out for that trip, nice thing about the kit, it does come with a cover panel that you can actually, with a wing nut, put the panel in, tighten it down, and of course you're ready to rock and roll, and you'll keep all the environment, crud and water and such out of your saddlebags. So running through the speakers and the subwoofers, of course, to go along with those, we need amplifiers to supply the power to them, and we're going to let Dan talk about some amps.
Okay, thanks Chase. So this is the amplifier that Harley-Davidson offers. Again, as you can see, it has the Rockford Fosgate insignia on it. These are a 400 watt amplifier. They're a 4-channel amplifier. So what that means is you can put these on the bike. Once you put these in, again, they mount in the saddlebag. As you can see, they're not big. We do have some customers that express some concern over losing capacity in their saddlebags, but they tuck right up in the back. They really take up about the size of a t-shirt. It's really not a huge loss in space in the saddlebags. They're very high quality amp. It's an R-tuned amp, which means that it's equalized for maximum performance in the motorcycle environment, which is obviously going to be a little different than if you're using an amplifier in a car. It also has bass management, which means that it maximizes bass at all levels of volume while you're riding on the bike. So the bass doesn't go up significantly when you turn the volume up or down significantly when you turn the volume down. It simply adjusts based on where you have the volume out on the bike, which is a really nice feature because that means you get the best bass out of this system all the time. It's also dynamically equalized, which means that it has an adaptive equalizer on it, and it's a Class D amp. So it produces more power with less draw. So it's a very efficient amplifier as well when it's mounted inside your saddlebag and it's working. Also, there's an application that you can download. It's an HD app that allows you to access the amplifier through a Bluetooth dongle. It's a really cool system because it allows you to play with the settings in the amplifier. It actually allows you to see the different speakers on the bike, and it has a health function. So if you have a speaker that's starting to fail or is showing issues, it will actually help you identify which speaker it is. The application is great. It gives you a lot of access to the system, and it's something that's specific to Harley-Davidson. I haven't seen it in any other amplifiers or EQs out there. This is the amplifier that we use for the system that goes in the Road Kings. If you're not familiar, Harley-Davidson offers a system that is specifically designed for the Road King. It puts the speakers in the saddlebag lids and uses a smaller amplifier. Again, this is a Bluetooth, allows you to Bluetooth your phone through it, and you can play your music straight through this amplifier from your phone. So if you're running an application, you know, any music application that you want to run, you can run it through this amplifier, and it sounds great. And again, it's great for those Road King customers that want a system on their bike, but they don't have all the necessary components right out of the factory. And then with that, this is the head unit. This is the Boombox GTS head unit that Harley-Davidson came out with a couple of years ago. This is a really great system. If you have one of the old systems with the 6-button with the 3 buttons on each side, this is a huge upgrade. There are some really nice features with this. One is it's really fast. I mean, almost lightning fast. This thing boots up like that when you turn the bike on. If you have one of those older systems, you know that if you put in a destination in your GPS, it takes quite a while for that map to load, and it's a really slow system. They work, but they are slow. It's a nice big screen. It's very visible. This is designed so that you can see it in the daylight. It's very bright, and it's designed to reduce glare so that you can see it. It's also glove friendly. So if you have gloves on and you're out riding, which a lot of us do, the haptics still work on this. So you can touch the screen and it still does what it's supposed to do, even though you have gloves on your hand. And that's really any kind of glove, a leather glove, whatever it might be. One of the other cool features of these is that it actually has the GPS antenna made right into it. So when you plug this into your bike, the GPS functionality is there. This is a big upgrade, and again, these have been really hard to get for about the last 1.5 to 2 years because they've been on back order. They have come back in, they're in stock. We had a handful of customers that were waiting on them. We've got those customers taken care of, and we're trying to keep 1 or 2 of these on the shelf for customers that may want them. So again, a big upgrade. If you haven't seen these, you can come in and see them on the new bike, and if you have one of the previous generation and you want to upgrade, this is really something that I suggest that you take a look at. I think that's pretty much it. Do we have anything else to talk about, Chase?
No,
okay.
Sir.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. If you have any questions on the stereo system, specifically Harley-Davidson, this is a great system, and it gives one of the best sounds that we've heard on motorcycles, and it's highly reliable. So stop in and see us, give us a call.